They weren't afraid of losing you until they realized the silence had more power than their presence ever did. That's what happens when a real one walks away. Suddenly, the whole room gets quiet. The people who once laughed behind your back stop laughing, because now they're looking over their shoulder. That's what happens when a chosen one stops playing along. Imagine a chessboard. You were the king. You didn't move often, but when you did, the whole board shifted, and now you made one move, one silent, sharp, unapologetic move, and the universe responded like thunder. They thought you were just another piece. They were wrong. You were the strategy. Here's a fact for you. Most people can't handle someone who knows their worth, because control dies the moment you realize you never needed them. And that's exactly what happened. You woke up. You looked around. You saw through the games, the masks, the fake concern, and you stood up. Not loud, not angry, just done. And that moment flipped everything, not just for you, but for everyone watching. And thank you, chosen one. Thank you for having the strength to keep listening, for not turning away from what's meant for you. Don't forget to pay this message forward. Like, subscribe, and help this message find more souls who need this light. We don't do this for attention. We do this because it's a mission. You are not just a listener. You're part of a force that's waking up, a force that the world tried to bury, but they forgot. You're a seed. Now let's get back to it. See, the title wasn't written for just anyone. It was written for the ones who were underestimated, the ones who were mocked for being quiet, loyal, and deep, the ones who were told, "You're too sensitive," when in reality, you were just too aware. That awareness, it scared them, because you didn't fall for the distractions, you didn't follow the crowd, you paid attention, you saw the energy shift, you watched people's actions, not their words. And you never forgot who changed when they thought you had nothing left to give. Let's make one thing clear. You didn't ask for this role. Being chosen isn't something you signed up for. It's something the universe handed you because it knew you could carry it, even if it broke you first. They threw betrayal at you like knives, thinking you'd bleed out, but you didn't. You evolved. You studied pain like a textbook. You turned heartbreak into fuel. You didn't collapse. You calculated. Now they're nervous. And they should be. Because the one they called too soft just became untouchable. The one they doubted is now the blueprint. You didn't turn bitter. You turned bulletproof. Your silence became louder than their noise. And the way you carry yourself now, that's not arrogance. That's clarity. They regret every breath they wasted doubting you. Let's talk about why. Let's talk about the power of turning away without warning. There's something terrifying about a person who stops explaining, who stops defending themselves, who stops reacting, because silence is not weakness, it's strategy. When you stop playing the emotional tug-of-war, the game ends. And when the game ends, they lose their control. They're used to pulling strings. But now, there's nothing to pull. You've cut the cord. And they're left standing there, trying to figure out when the puppet became the puppeteer. Let's break a fact down. Emotionally intelligent people are seen as threats in emotionally immature environments. That's you. You're not cold, you're clear, you're not cruel, you just stopped rescuing people who were committed to sinking. And the truth is, people don't like when the person they took for granted finally acts like they matter. Now they're watching, quietly, secretly, wondering if you'll come back. But they don't realize, you're not who you were. You're not coming back to fix anything, because nothing broke on your end. What broke was the illusion that you needed them. What shattered was their comfort zone. Chosen one, this isn't revenge. This is rebalance. This is the universe realigning what was stolen from you. Your peace, your time, your attention. And now every breath you take is a problem for the ones who counted on your silence. You see, they didn't just lose a person, they lost access. And access is everything. Once you took it away, the illusion collapsed. Their power wasn't real. It was borrowed. It only worked while you believed in it. Let me say it again so the ones in the back hear it. They didn't fear losing you until you stopped explaining yourself. And now, every post you make, every time your name comes up, every move you make in peace, it haunts them, because deep down they know, if you're gone and they're still thinking about you, you were never the problem. That's the sting. You were the real thing in a world full of copies, and now that you're gone, they're drowning in people who don't even come close, and it's hitting them, not all at once, but slowly, late at night, in the quiet moments, in the silence that echoes back everything they tried to ignore. Chosen one, this isn't just a comeback. It's a warning, not to others, but to the version of you that once settled, that once tolerated fake love, half-truths, and convenient friendships. That version, gone. And in its place is someone who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't prove. You listen now, you observe, you let people show you who they are, and when they do, you act accordingly. This message isn't just here to make you feel better, it's here to wake you up deeper. Because the more awake you are, the more dangerous you become to everything that tried to keep you asleep. You were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to play small. You were built different for a reason. That pain, it wasn't random. That betrayal, it wasn't an accident. It was the universe sharpening your edges, teaching you what fake feels like, so you'd never settle again. And now they want your energy back, after mocking it, after draining it, after doubting it? No. They don't get to tap into your power now that you've figured out how rare it is. So breathe easy, chosen one. You're not the same, and you're not going back, not because you're mad, but because the place you were in no longer exists. You've outgrown the cage they tried to keep you in. Let them miss you. Let them wonder. Let them regret every breath they wasted trying to shrink you. Because now, every breath you take is a reminder. You were the light they couldn't dim. And hey, chosen one, if you've made it this far, that's not an accident. That's alignment. The truth in this message was meant for your ears. And what's coming next? It hits even deeper, so don't blink, don't scroll, don't turn away. Drop the number 777 in the comments if you can feel the universe shifting as you listen. And if this message is waking something up in you, help keep this light alive. Your support, no matter how small, fuels this mission. Whether it's a like, a comment, or a super thanks, it all matters, because what we're building here, it's not content, it's a movement, a rebellion against everything that tried to bury the real ones. So, take a breath and stay locked in, because what's coming next? It's the part you really don't want to miss. This is where everything starts to shift. Let's dive in, step by step. And if you're truly the chosen one, you'll feel the pull to stay to the very last word. Let's begin. Number 1. When the universe starts whispering, it's already too late for your enemies. They laughed while you bled. Now they flinch when you breathe. That's the shift. That's the moment your silence stopped being ignored and started being feared. While they thought they got away with it, while they moved recklessly thinking you were still asleep, the universe was already moving. Not loud, not flashy, just quietly rearranging everything behind the scenes. Because when the real chosen ones stop explaining themselves, it isn't peace. It's the calm before something breaks. Let's get this straight. You're not paranoid. That strange tension in the air, that feeling that something is watching, tracking, waiting. You're not imagining it. The universe is sounding the alarm, not to scare you, but to sharpen you. Because something's coming. Something twisted is being built behind your back, the kind of trap they set when they think you've lowered your guard. But here's the problem. They forgot who you are now. They forgot the version of you they're dealing with isn't the one they broke before. They're setting traps for someone who doesn't exist anymore. You see, when you were quiet, they assumed you were weak. But silence has layers. Silence listens. Silence watches. Silence builds. And now that you've been still long enough, they don't know what you're planning. That's why they're nervous. That's why their fake smiles look more forced. Because deep down, they sense it. You heard the whisper before the war. You felt the pressure before the storm. And now, while they're still rehearsing their lies, you've already mapped every exit. Here's the brutal truth they don't want you to hear. They don't fear karma. They fear timing. And yours is terrifying. You didn't chase revenge. You didn't beg for closure. You evolved. And evolution is a language they don't understand. You shifted in ways they can't track. And now it's already too late for them to fix what they broke. Ever wondered why your energy makes people uncomfortable lately? Why old friends seem distant? Why certain people avoid eye contact? Because the universe is separating you from anything that can't go where you're headed. It's not rejection. It's redirection. You're not being isolated. You're being insulated. You're being pulled out of the blast zone before the hit lands. And don't get it twisted. They know what they did. They just didn't expect you to wake up from it. They didn't expect you to move in silence, to study them while they underestimated you. They thought you were just emotional. Nah. You were processing. You were absorbing the betrayal, the games, the disrespect. And now that you've digested it all, you're moving like someone with nothing to lose and everything to protect. They hear your name and freeze, not because of what you said, but because of what you haven't. The unknown is loud now. Your silence screams. Your distance stings. And the truth is, they're not sorry. They're scared. Scared of what happens when the one they wounded stops bleeding and starts building. So yes, chosen one, the alarm is ringing. Not to scare you, but to remind you, you're the target because you're the threat. They tried to catch you sleeping, but the joke's on them. You weren't sleeping. You were transforming. Number 2. The devil doesn't knock. It smiles, then offers you everything you ever wanted. Not everything that glows is gold. Some of it is just bait waiting for your downfall. Let's get real. The trap isn't going to show up waving red flags. It's not going to stomp into your life like a villain in a cheap movie. No, the trap is polished, pretty. It wears your favorite scent, speaks your love language, mimics your desires. It walks in disguised as the very thing you thought the universe owed you. That dream job, that charming person, that golden opportunity. But behind that smile is a hook. Behind that open door is a cage. And if you don't pause long enough to look past the surface, you'll mistake the setup for salvation. You ever wonder why the thing you wanted so badly suddenly feels off the second you get close to it? Why the perfect person starts giving you anxiety instead of peace? Why the deal that looked like a breakthrough starts making you question your gut? That's the universe whispering, look again, that's not your blessing, that's bait. And if you're not awake, it'll catch you slipping. Imagine this. You're starving. You've been walking through a desert of loneliness, betrayal, rejection. And finally, you see a feast laid out just for you. Everything you've ever wanted. Love, success, validation, a seat at the table. You drop your guard. You think, finally, something good is happening. But the moment you take a bite, everything starts to feel wrong. Your energy dips. Your peace gets shaky. Your intuition starts screaming. Because that wasn't a feast. That was a trap. A setup dressed in comfort. And now you're choking on the very thing you thought would save you. Sometimes the test doesn't come as a storm. It comes as everything you ever dreamed of, all at once. See, they know what you crave. The ones watching you, the ones who smiled in your face while secretly hoping you'd self-destruct. They've studied you long enough to know how to bait the hook. And now they've built the perfect illusion. A blessing with poison at the core. And here's the hard truth. Not everything sent to you was sent for your growth. Some things were sent to stall you, to sidetrack your mission, to waste your time with something that looks like purpose, but pulls you off your path. That's the cruelty of the trap. It plays nice until it gets what it wants. Then it devours. Imagine this. You're handed a golden key. It looks like freedom, feels like destiny. You use it to open a new door in your life. But once you walk through, it slams shut behind you. And suddenly, everything feels darker than where you came from. That's how fast it can switch. That's how fast bait turns into bondage. And you might be asking, but how do I know? How do I tell the difference between the trap and the blessing? Simple. Look at how it makes you feel, not just in the moment, but in your soul. Does it bring peace, or does it bring confusion? Does it make you expand, or does it shrink you? Real blessings won't require you to sacrifice your boundaries. Real love won't demand your silence. Real purpose won't make you question your worth. A real blessing won't cost your sanity, but the trap will. It'll start with small compromises. A little self-doubt here, a few ignored red flags there, and then suddenly you're in deep, you're drained, you're lost in something that looked like a miracle and turned out to be a lesson. And the worst part, most people don't even realize they've stepped into it until they're knee-deep in consequences. That perfect partner starts controlling you. That dream job becomes a soul-sucking prison. That new circle of friends starts gossiping the moment you turn your back. Imagine this. You're handed a ticket to a place you've always wanted to go. The people are welcoming, the air feels fresh, the signs are all green. You step in, and suddenly the walls start shifting, the smiles fade, the lights dim. You realize you weren't invited, you were hunted. That's the reality for too many chosen ones. You weren't given an opportunity. You were given a distraction, dressed up as destiny. So hear this loud and clear. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. If it confuses your spirit, it's not alignment. It's a trap. You were born with an inner alarm, chosen one. That off feeling, that gut instinct. It's not paranoia. It's protection. You've got people around you who look like they're clapping for you, but they're really checking to see if their trap worked. They don't want your downfall to look like destruction. They want it to look like your decision. So you can't even blame them later. They want you to willingly walk into your own prison, thinking it's a palace. The most dangerous chains are the ones that come wrapped in gold. That's what they're counting on, for you to be so desperate for something new, something better, that you don't pause to inspect it. But you're not that desperate anymore. You've been through enough now to know. If something feels too easy, too perfect, too fast, it deserves a second look. Because real alignment doesn't rush you. It respects your rhythm. And anything trying to bypass your discernment isn't divine. It's a distraction. So, slow down, rethink the offer, replay that conversation, read between the lines, because once you step into the trap, it takes years to get out. And that's the game, to drain your time, your energy, your calling, by giving you something that almost feels right. But almost isn't enough when you're chosen. You weren't built for close enough. You were built for truth, for clarity, for purpose, not manipulation dressed up as opportunity. And maybe you're thinking right now, but what if I already stepped into it? What if I'm already stuck? Then listen closely. The moment you realize it's a trap, the door starts to open. Awareness is your way out. Your intuition is your weapon. The trap can't hold you once you stop pretending it's a blessing. You get to choose now. Do you keep playing along because it's comfortable, or do you walk out even if it's hard? That's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who rise. The ones who rise, they question the script. They stop smiling when it doesn't feel right. They stop clapping for things that make their soul ache. Chosen one, don't let flattery turn into your downfall. Don't let pretty words make you forget how many times your soul has already paid the price for trusting too quickly. They'll offer the world, but if the cost is your alignment, walk away. Because you don't need their stage. You don't need their approval. You are the power they're trying to attach to, and you don't need to shrink for anyone's comfort. You've been warned. And now, you've been armed. So next time something shows up that feels too good to be true, ask yourself, does this expand me or does this exploit me? Because if it's the latter, walk away before the door locks. Number 3, when your gut screams, stop ignoring it. That's not paranoia, that's precision. They called it overthinking until everything you warned them about came true. Let's be honest, you've been feeling it for a while now, that weird shift in energy when you walk into certain rooms, the unease when you hear someone's name, that quiet voice that says, back away, even when nothing looks wrong on the surface. You've brushed it off, tried to be polite, gave people the benefit of the doubt. But let's stop pretending. You know what that feeling is. It's not fear, it's not anxiety. And no, it's not just in your head. That's discernment. That's your soul setting off alarms your mind hasn't fully caught up to yet. Imagine this. You're walking through a forest. The path is clear. The sun is shining. Everything seems fine. But something in you keeps saying, turn back. Not because of what you see, but because of what you sense. The birds stop singing. The air gets thick. That tiny twist in your gut starts pulling at you. Most people keep walking, until the ground gives out beneath them. But you paused. You felt it. And that pause, that's what saves the real ones, every time. You're not crazy. You're tuned in. People around you might laugh it off. You're just being sensitive. You always expect the worst. But funny how those same people always come back shocked when things fall apart, and you saw it coming from the start. That's not an accident. That's your gift. That's discernment. And the more you ignore it to make others comfortable, the more damage you collect that you could have avoided. The chosen ones don't need proof to feel the truth. They feel the shift long before it shows up. So let's stop acting confused. That uneasiness around someone who used to feel safe. That's not nostalgia leaving your body. That's your intuition waking up. People change, masks crack, and energy always reveals what mouths try to hide. If your spirit feels heavy around them now, it's because something underneath the surface already shifted, and you're picking up on it before it explodes. Imagine this. You're holding a glass of clear water. Someone drops one drop of poison into it. You can't see it, but your body knows it's there. Would you drink it anyway just because it looks fine? That's what it's like when you keep entertaining energy that your soul already rejected. It might look normal, it might look unchanged, but you feel what's wrong, and the longer you ignore that, the deeper it sinks into you. Your discernment is a divine defense system. It's not a glitch. It's not something to second guess. It's the reason you've survived things other people didn't. It's why your path hasn't been hijacked. It's why you've avoided traps even you didn't know were set for you. So stop apologizing for being cautious. Stop dulling your instincts just to make toxic people feel safe around you. You weren't built for their comfort. You were built for truth. They didn't fool you. You just chose peace over proving your point. And now that feeling is back, that twist in your gut, that restlessness in rooms that used to feel warm, that weird resistance to calls, texts, offers. Trust it. That's not you being antisocial. That's your higher self saying, "We've seen this pattern before. We're not doing that again." You've evolved. Your energy has matured. And with that comes a sensitivity to things others can't see yet. You feel fake love in a handshake. You hear lies in someone's silence. You sense betrayal before it's even planned. That's not paranoia. That's accuracy. And you might ask, but what if I'm wrong? Okay, what if you are? What's the cost of walking away from a situation that might have been safe? Nothing. You protect your peace. But what's the cost of staying in something that your spirit already screamed about? Years of pain, regret, trauma you didn't need to collect. So which one do you choose? Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, fog everywhere. Two paths. One feels calm, the other looks exciting but heavy. One makes your body breathe easier, the other makes your chest tighten. Most people choose based on appearance. You're choosing based on vibration. That's why you win in the long run, not because you're lucky, but because you listen. So, chosen one, let's stop pretending like you don't know what's up. You do. You've always known. You just needed permission to trust yourself again. So here it is. You're allowed to walk away with no explanation. You're allowed to cut off what makes you flinch. You're allowed to say something feels off and act on it without needing to prove anything to anyone. Because your discernment doesn't lie. It never has. Number 4. The enemy won't announce himself. He'll dress like everything you ever prayed for. The most dangerous enemy isn't the one who attacks you. It's the one who earns your trust first. Let's kill the fantasy. The enemy's not some cartoon devil in red. He's not stomping through your life with warning signs and creepy background music. Nah, he moves in silence. He studies your patterns. He watches your pain points. He waits for the exact moment you're tired, broken, and desperate for relief. And then, he shows up as everything you ever thought you wanted. Imagine this. You've been crawling through months of pain. You've cried for a connection, begged for a sign, prayed for a break. And out of nowhere, someone shows up. Sweet, caring, saying all the right things. Or maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's an opportunity. The job you always dreamed of. The platform you thought you deserved. The door you've been banging on for years finally cracks open. But here's what they don't tell you. Not all open doors are from the universe. Some of them are traps. Some are dressed up to look like breakthrough. But the fine print is laced with betrayal. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you with something that feels almost right. You ever meet someone and feel like they were too perfect, too in sync, like they studied your soul before they showed up? That's not a blessing. That's a blueprint, your blueprint, being used against you. The enemy doesn't approach chosen ones with fear tactics. He approaches with familiarity. He blends into your frequency. He learns your code. And then he offers you the one thing you're starving for, hoping you'll abandon your discernment to feed your need. Imagine this. You're walking through a mirror maze. Every reflection looks like you. Every turn seems like progress. But one wrong step, and you're circling the same illusion forever. That's how he traps the chosen. Not with fear, but with false fulfillment. With relationships that feel like healing until they hollow you out. With jobs that look like success until they suck the life out of your spirit. With offers that sparkle on the outside and rot you from the inside. And you might ask, but how do I know the difference? Simple. Discernment, not logic, not emotion. Discernment, that gut feeling, that slight hesitation, that whisper in your chest that says, slow down. Look again. It's not there to annoy you. It's there to save you. The enemy's favorite weapon is timing. He waits for the moment you're too tired to ask questions. That's when he strikes. When you've let your guard down. When you're lonely and just want someone to care. When you're doubting your purpose and just want something, anything, to feel like progress. That's when he whispers those subtle words. Did the universe really say that? Just enough doubt to shift your path. Just enough charm to distract you. Just enough comfort to keep you from seeing the cage behind the curtain. You see, when the enemy can't destroy you head-on, he infiltrates. He sends counterfeits, people who look right but drain you slowly. Situations that feel aligned but twist you out of character, and before you even realize it, you've shifted. You're not moving with clarity anymore. You're reacting. You're adjusting to people who were never supposed to have access in the first place. Imagine this. You're handed a glass of crystal clear water on a hot day. You drink it. Refreshing. Perfect. But there's one drop of acid in it. You don't taste it right away, but it's already in your system. That's how the enemy works. He doesn't poison the whole cup. He just adds enough to change your chemistry over time. Chosen one, wake up. Stop being impressed by appearances. Stop assuming that because it showed up during your prayer, it came from a higher place. Not everything sent during your season of desperation is a gift. Some things are custom-built traps made to look like answers, and they'll cost you everything. Your peace, your alignment, your power, if you let them in unchecked. The scariest demons don't knock. They get invited. And the invitation is usually wrapped in your desperation. That's why your biggest job right now is to be still, to observe, to test the energy before you trust the vibe. If it's real, it won't rush you. If it's sent, it won't manipulate you. If it's meant, it won't confuse you. Anything that demands you silence your intuition isn't a blessing. It's a blueprint for betrayal. And maybe you're sitting there thinking, but what if I already let them in? Then it's time to course correct. It's time to ask yourself the hard questions. Does this connection bring clarity or chaos? Does this opportunity light me up or burn me out? Am I growing or just surviving? If it's draining you, it's not divine. If it's shrinking you, it's not for you. If it's costing you your peace, it's already too expensive. Don't get seduced by the presentation. Don't let your loneliness talk you into lifelines that are secretly leashes. You didn't come this far just to get baited by a better-looking trap. So when something or someone shows up and feels just a little too perfect, pause. Take a breath. Look beyond the surface. Because while they're smiling at your face, they might be silently counting on your downfall. And remember this, chosen one, The enemy moves in silence, but so do assassins, and you were never meant to be the victim. Number 5. The knife was always in the hug. It's not the strangers who ruin you. It's the ones who knew exactly where to aim. Let's cut the fantasy. The people closest to you are not always your allies. Some of them are just well-disguised threats with front-row seats to your downfall. They know your habits. They know your insecurities. They know just enough of your past to weaponize it, and too many of them are silently hoping your next move fails so they can finally feel taller. You've got relatives who act supportive until your name leaves the room. Friends who smile during your wins but secretly collect your failures like trophies. People who act confused about your growth, not because they don't understand it, but because they resent the fact that you did something they didn't have the spine to try. Imagine this. You're climbing a mountain, exhausted, bleeding, doing the work, and every time you stop to rest, someone offers you water. But it's laced with poison, not enough to kill you, just enough to slow you down. That's what fake closeness feels like. That's how subtle betrayal works. They don't destroy you, they drain you over time, smile while doing it, and then act shocked when you collapse. You might be asking, but why would they do that? Simple. Your growth exposes their stagnation. Your ambition threatens their comfort zone. Your light puts pressure on their shadows. So instead of rising with you, they try to hold you in place, not with chains, but with guilt, gossip, and fake concern. Not everyone cheering is on your side. Some are just waiting to see if you'll trip. So stop assuming proximity equals loyalty. Start observing. Who supports you when no one's watching? Who defends you in rooms you're not in? Who doesn't flinch when your light gets brighter? Chosen one, not everyone who's close deserves access. Some were only close enough to study your blueprint, so they could sabotage the construction. Cut the rope before the weight pulls you under. The hug shouldn't come with a blade. Number 6. The enemy doesn't build prisons. He builds palaces that lock from the inside. The worst kind of trap is the one you decorate yourself. Here's the brutal truth. Not every opportunity is a blessing, and not every comfort is peace. The enemy doesn't chase you with chaos anymore. He got smarter. He paints the walls gold, makes the floor shine, fills the air with compliments, and waits for you to mistake luxury for freedom. You walk in smiling, thinking you've made it, but somewhere between relief and pride, the door shuts, quietly. No sound, no warning, just the realization that the glitter you were chasing was your new cage being sealed. Imagine this. You're offered everything you've ever wanted: recognition, love, a seat at the table. You take it. It feels good. It feels safe. But slowly, your peace starts to leak. Your time isn't your own anymore. Your words get filtered. You can't speak like you used to. You can't move without permission. That's not success. That's control wrapped in praise. The enemy learned that for chosen ones, noise won't work, only comfort will. The easiest way to trap a free soul is to convince it it's already winning. You might be asking, but how do I know if I'm in the cage? Look at what it costs. If something requires you to shrink your spirit, silence your instincts, or betray your truth just to keep it, that's not a blessing. That's bondage wearing diamonds. You'll know it's fake when your body celebrates but your soul sighs. And don't ignore this. Some of the blueprints for your cage are being drawn by familiar hands. The enemy loves to use people with good intentions, but weak discernment. The friend who keeps you realistic. The family member who just wants the best for you. The partner who supports you but subtly pulls you back when you start to rise. Chosen one, stop letting the gold distract you from the bars. The enemy's game is sophistication, not chaos. He doesn't need to destroy you when he can keep you comfortable. Break the illusion. Walk out barefoot if you have to, because peace without freedom isn't peace. It's a gilded prison, and you were never meant to live behind gold bars. Number 7. The universe is snitching. Are you finally ready to listen? The truth doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, and you feel it before you see it. Let's not sugarcoat it. You've been feeling something, a weird heaviness when you walk in certain rooms, that sudden coldness in conversations that used to feel warm. People you used to trust now make your skin itch, and you can't even explain why. But that's not random. That's not paranoia. That's intel. The universe is leaking classified information directly into your instincts. And if you keep ignoring it, you'll walk into a disaster you were warned about a dozen times. Imagine this. You're in a dark theater. Everyone's playing a part, smiling, laughing, acting, but suddenly the lights flicker, and for just 1 second you see someone's real face, their real intention, their real energy. The mask slips. Most people blink and miss it, but not you. You saw it, you felt it, and now you can't unsee it. That flicker was the warning. The shift was the signal. The universe is exposing what's been hiding in plain sight. And the only question is, are you brave enough to act on what you now know? Exposure isn't always public. Sometimes it's internal. A quiet knowing that something ain't right. The universe doesn't shout. It nudges. It shakes your comfort. It lets you overhear things not meant for you. It sends people back into your life just to show you how little they've changed. That dream you keep having, that message that hit too hard, that gut feeling you can't shake, it's not random. It's a soft voice saying, look closer. They're not who you think they are. You might ask, but what if I'm wrong? Chosen one, even if you were wrong, protecting your peace is never a mistake. Trusting your intuition has never once destroyed your life, but ignoring it, that's where the damage happens. Right now, people around you are being revealed. Patterns are breaking. Hidden motives are surfacing. The truth isn't coming. It's already here. Stop waiting for more proof. The proof was how your spirit shifted before your mind could explain it. So, trust it. Move different. And when the masks fall, don't act surprised. You knew before anyone told you, because the universe told you first. Number 8. The delay was the shield, not the setback. What you called a missed opportunity was the universe yanking you out of a trap you were too loyal to walk away from. Let's be real, you were mad, confused, hurt. You thought the silence meant failure. You thought that closed door meant you weren't enough, that the opportunity slipped through your fingers because you didn't try hard enough. But no, that wasn't rejection. That was precision. That was the universe stepping in like a bodyguard saying, not this, not yet, not like this. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of what looks like a golden bridge. It's glowing. It's everything you prayed for. But what you don't see, what the universe sees, is that halfway through, the entire bridge collapses. You would have fallen. Hard. You would have lost parts of yourself you're still healing now. So instead, the universe delays you, stops you, holds you in place. Not to punish you, but to preserve you. We always think protection has to look like safety, but sometimes it looks like loneliness, like silence, like things falling apart when we thought they were finally coming together. But that's the genius of divine timing. It doesn't care about your schedule, it protects your soul. The universe would rather disappoint your ego than let your spirit walk into destruction. Delayed doesn't mean denied, it means rerouted, refined, and rearmed. You might be asking, but why would it feel so painful if it's protection? Because letting go of what you thought was right always hurts until you see what was hiding behind it. That person you begged to stay, their exit saved you. That job you didn't get, it would have drained you. That move that didn't happen, it would have placed you in the enemy's reach. And chosen one, you didn't miss anything. What's meant for you won't ask you to sacrifice your peace to keep it. What's real will not require you to chase, beg, or break your soul trying to hold it together. So, breathe, step back, trust the silence. That delay wasn't punishment. It was strategy. It was protection. It was love in disguise. Type, "I will not be deceived" in the comments if your eyes are opening and you're finally seeing the delay for what it truly was, a rescue dressed as rejection. Number 9. The isolation. Wasn't rejection, it was recalibration. They didn't leave you behind. The universe pulled you ahead where they couldn't follow. Let's clear it up now. Your season of silence, of abandonment, of being misunderstood and overlooked wasn't a punishment. It was a setup, a strategic pause, a surgical separation. That wilderness you went through wasn't a random storm. It was a custom-built gym for your spirit. You weren't being forgotten. You were being forged. Everyone saw the shutdown. Nobody saw the download. While they thought you were stuck, the universe was isolating you to insulate you, because the next version of you, it couldn't be built around noise, distractions, or fake love. It had to be created in stillness, alone, in fire. Imagine this. You're pulled from the battlefield and dropped into the shadows. No applause, no backup, just silence. It feels like exile, but it's actually elevation. You're not being sidelined, you're being sharpened, because what's coming for you requires more than talent. It requires timing. If you had blown up too early, you would have trusted the wrong people, entered the wrong rooms, misread the mission. So the universe slowed you down, not to stop you, but to align you. The break wasn't a breakdown, it was a blueprint. And now you're different. You don't chase energy anymore. You read it. You don't explain yourself to everyone. You let your presence speak. That's wilderness training. That's what happens when pain teaches you precision. You learned how to build with nothing, how to see without being told, how to survive without validation. That kind of wisdom can't be gifted. It's earned. So when you ask, why did it take so long? Understand, the universe wasn't delaying your destiny. It was delaying your enemies from reaching it with you. If you had been freed too early, you would have carried dead weight into your future. Now, you move light, clear, and lethal. Chosen one, your time in the wilderness wasn't wasted. It was weaponized. And now that you're out, the world has no idea what's coming. Number 10. The universe doesn't discard warriors, it reassigns them. You're not expired, you're evolving. The mission didn't end, it just got upgraded. Let's kill the lie. It's too late for me. That's a trap. A mental cage built by people who quit too soon and want you to do the same. But chosen one, real warriors don't age out. They level up. The universe doesn't toss out battle-tested souls. It redeploys them where the stakes are higher and the impact hits harder. Imagine this. A seasoned fighter walks off the battlefield thinking the war is over. He's worn out, scarred, tired of the silence. But just as he puts his armor down, a messenger shows up. New orders, new territory, a new enemy. Not because he failed, but because now he's ready for the fight that matters. You're not being left behind, you're being reassigned. Your age, your setbacks, your scars, they don't disqualify you, they certify you. You've got experience now, you've got discernment now, you've got a fire in your eyes that can't be faked. The young might have speed, but you've got strategy. You've been through hell and made it back with receipts. That makes you dangerous. The universe doesn't retire those it trusts. It repositions them where their power shakes the ground. So you think you're too old, too late? Nah, you're just in the relaunch phase. This next chapter isn't about proving anything. It's about applying everything. You're not who you were when you started. You're smarter now, sharper, less naive. You've seen what betrayal feels like, what failure costs, what silence teaches. And that makes you a threat to every system that wanted you to quit. Chosen one, there are people out here who need your voice, your story, your presence, and if you fall for the lie that you've already done your part, the enemy wins by default. But if you rise now, with everything you've learned, it's game over. You're not done. You are just being refitted for the next battlefield. And trust me, you're going to walk into this next season like you never left. Because legends don't retire, they return. Number 11. You're bruised, not broken. And that means you're still dangerous. If it didn't bury you, it built you. And that means you're still a threat. You've taken hits that would have shattered most people. You've watched time slip through your fingers, dreams crumble in your hands, and people you loved vanish like they never knew your name. And yet, you're here, breathing, listening, processing. That alone should tell you something. The fight ain't over, not even close. Imagine this. A warrior crawls off the battlefield, covered in scars, armor dented, vision blurred. He thinks it's the end, but then he hears movement, feels that pulse in his chest, and in that moment he realizes, I'm still alive. I'm still in this. That's you. You've been knocked down, humiliated, underestimated. But the fact that you're still standing, that alone is power. You think because you've lost time, you've lost value. Nah. You think because you're tired, the mission's cancelled. Wrong. The universe doesn't discard the injured. It reinvests in the resilient. If you were truly finished, you'd feel nothing. But that fire inside you, that itch to keep going, to make it mean something, that's your confirmation. The wound didn't end you. It upgraded your aim. You've been trained in silence, refined in pain, shaped by storms. That means you don't move like everyone else now. You walk into rooms with depth, with wisdom, with armor no one sees, but everyone feels. You've got energy that doesn't beg, it commands, and that scares the hell out of the ones who hoped you'd stay broken. So, yeah, you've buried dreams. But maybe they weren't dead. Maybe they were planted. And now, they're sprouting in ways nobody expected, including you. Chosen one, don't confuse exhaustion with extinction. You're not done. You're not finished. You're still in the ring, still chosen, still protected, because your role in this story isn't over, not even close. And the ones who thought you were done, they're about to see just how dangerous survival made you.